I have to stop going back to you. Back to you. Back to you. Back to you. I have to stop going back to you. Back to you. Back to you. Back to you. To you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop going back to you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop going back to you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop going back to you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop going back to you. 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 I have to start going back. stuck inside of these walls with you. I don't recognize who I've turned into. I'm losing hope in getting myself back. Everything around me is starting to turn black. Don't tell me you're hurt again. Tell me how wrong I am. Tell me how it's all my fault. Yeah, I've met my match again, starting from scratch again. Where is the pleasure in all this pain? Don't you lie to me. Say it's all okay when it feels like I'm drowning. I hate to say goodbye, but it's time to go. All I need is someone else. I've never felt more divided than now. Every word that leaves your lips never means how it sounds. The thought of the best of me could have just set me free. Games that you play are just sickening. Now I'm beside myself, don't want your fucking help. Let me just go, let me just go. Don't you lie to me. Say it's all okay when it feels like I'm drowning. I hate to say goodbye, but it's time to go. All I need is someone else.
You are my strangest addiction. I could say I'll quit without any conviction. Broke my own heart this time for believing that a ghost could find a body alive that hasn't seen the other side. So don't call me, I'll find something to escape my mind. What's the cause when there's no love lost between us? So burn the letters, there's a could say I'll quit without any conviction. Broke my own heart this time for believing that a ghost could find a body alive that hasn't seen the other side. So don't call me, I'll find something to escape my mind. There's a tragedy in every ember. What's the cost when there's no love lost between us? So burn the letters. There's a tragedy in every ember. In every ember. In every ember. In every ember, there's a tragedy in every
Here it is, the brand new Asus ROG Maximus 12 Hero Wi-Fi motherboard. This Z490 based motherboard supports Intel's 10th gen processors. It's designed to offer an outstanding experience, stock or overclocked. The advanced VRM features an impressive 16 power stages to ensure more than enough power under heavy loads. This Hero not only looks cool, but stays cool by design. This new heatsink design is bigger, better, and cooler than previous models. A 3-zone VRM heatsink with a large heat pipe keeps the power circuitry cool. And the M.2 heatsinks keep up to 3 SSDs at the right temperature for consistent performance. To the right of the CPU socket, we have 4 DDR4 DIMM slots for up to 128 gigabytes of RAM. Thanks to our OptimM3 design and a new daisy chain topology, the Hero can overclock to higher frequencies like 4800 MHz and beyond. With support for our exclusive AI overclocking, AI cooling, and ROG GameFirst 6 software with AI networking, your system can automatically tune itself for the best performance with a few clicks. Setting the industry standard is our pre-mounted I/O shield, making installation a breeze. The back panel includes plenty of USB 3.1 Gen 1 and Gen 2 ports, USB-C, ultra-fast Intel Wi-Fi 6, dual LAN ports featuring 5G and 1G connectivity, Bluetooth 5.1, and analog and optical audio outputs powered by ROG Supreme FX for an immersive audio gaming experience that draws you deeper into the action. To expand your system even further, you'll find a USB 3.2 Gen 2 front panel connector, 3 PCIe 3.0 by 16 slots, 2 of which include our safe slot designed to keep your GPU safe and secure, 2 RGB lighting zones, one on the chipset and the other on the I/O shroud. Addressable and standard RGB LED headers let you coordinate lighting effects across your entire setup with Aura Sync. The best just got better with the Asus ROG Maximus 12 Hero Wi-Fi motherboard.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Unfortunately, Blue Panda's microphone has committed unalive, so here we are. It is your boy Cthulhu and Blue Panda as per usual. And look, we have the final week of the regular season upon us, and honestly, a few still spots are left unchecked for the playoffs bracket, which are going to be decided tonight. Now, Blue, are you with us now? No, okay, he's not with us yet. Okay, that is largely unfortunate. Now, whilst we are getting Blue Panda's microphone all fixed up and all sorted, hopefully. Do we have it? Do we have the thing? Well, we'll go quickly to the league format real quick to run us by it. It is going to be 8 teams. Well, 8 teams have joined us for the wonderful this season. And by the conclusion of this week, it is going to be group stage that is going to be upon us. Group stage will be finishing up. It's semifinals and finals are going to be coming up. That's the one. And it is going to be in the fashion of BO3, group stage BO1, and then we also going to have for the finals the grand final and the contention for the third place playoff as well. Now, there is a question where, for what are the teams playing for? Well, it's the bragging rights, the accolades, and the cash money. And well, let's have a look at the prize money that is being brought into this season as well. Shout out to our wonderful friends over at Ubisoft Australia. 3,000 AUD total prize pool. Champions coming about with $1,500 dues. Runners up and 1K, and then third place 500. Well, Australian shekels, however you want to call it. Look, plenty of incentive to really grind it out. Plenty of incentive to smash out the prep during especially this final day, plus the playoffs as well, going into the best of 3 format. Obviously, will differ and will bring in more so the question of the endurance into the competition. Now that there's going to be essentially more than just a single map that is going to be played, and for quite a lot of teams, Alex, this may be the first appearance in the playoffs. Now, Blue Panda, are you back with us?
Okay.
We're here.
So, I know whose fault it is. I know exactly whose fault. It's not ANZ's fault. We were setting some things up for this weekend, and because of the changes that we made, it's completely reset my settings again. So, yeah, if you want to subtweet someone, subtweet Notary. But yeah, prize pool, there's a lot up for grabs. And going to the final play day, of course, this is where we set it all up going into the playoffs. We've been through that. We've been through all of it. I'm now catching up. And Cthulhu, the matches we have on the cards tonight are definitely going to be some interesting ones. But there's one more stage, obviously. There's not just money on the line. There is that MVP award as well that teams and individual players, there you go, the ZQ Racing Gaming Chair. And we all know just how impactful a good gaming chair can be.
Absolutely. Brings you the better comfort, better aim. Look, Borderline gives you aim hacks at this point, really. And we all know how important the better aim is over gamers, especially in a game like Siege. And so the winner of this will be decided by the conclusion, I believe, of the season. But yeah, look, let's cast our sight all the way to the previous week's standings, get ourselves once again familiarized with what's been happening throughout the whole regular season. And well, Panda, I mean, we've had quite a banger of a season, I'll say that.
Yeah, look, it's New Zealand diff, the New Zealand Warriors right now, 6-0. They've been pretty vocal on the socials leading up to today. They want to make it the full 7-0 by the close of this evening. We then got Forsaken Boba in second place. It would come down to the head-to-head for them to be knocked out of that position right now. And I do believe that Forsaken did take that win over Overt in previous weeks. Now, the interesting spot, of course, that 4th, 5th positioning, it is really anyone's guess who takes that. Viking Army or Grumpy Grapes. Both are going to be going for a massive evening tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, that's that last spot that is yet to be contested, and honestly, yeah, quite a fair few interesting storylines that could be collected off that. Viking Army and Grumpy Grapes had so far quite a solid performance throughout the whole season. Unfortunately, a few bumpy spots here and there, but in general, a huge improvement, even comparative to their performances back in the previous season. Now, why don't we start talking really about the upcoming, well, this week's schedule, really, first of all. That is going to be Radical Rebels and Grumpy Grapes, so it is the first chance for Grumpy Grapes to actually make it into the top 4 positions. Warriors versus Volpus Gaming is off stream. Overt versus Viking Army on the community casted channel, and that is going to be probably another uphill battle for Viking Army, given that Overt been putting in the effort. And then as the last, as a wrapper, Forsaken Boba versus Fallen Angels.
That's the one, really. It's about that first and third match, as you see on the screen. Overt could look to play Gatekeeper here, of course, if they do. And, if they stop Viking Army from picking up that much-needed win tonight, honestly, that could be a bit of a big upset on the cards. But, yeah, closing it out, Fallen Angels versus Forsaken Boba. There's a lot that could go in that match as well. We've seen... We had that in the OCL, the team that had struggled all season. They finally got their much-needed win. It was also against Forsaken's OCL team. So there is potential we could see a bit of a repeat of history.
Absolutely. Look, honestly, I'm quite keen for it all. I'm keen for each one of those matches. I'm definitely quite curious to see how have Grumpy Grapes kept on improving. How will Radical Rebels be able to respond back to them, given the fact that for Radical Rebels it's been unfortunately quite a bumpy road, even bumpier than Grumpy Grapes, as unfortunate as it is. But look, why don't we dig in straight into match number one and get to actually talking about it all, because look, Radical Rebels versus Grumpy Grapes, the two teams, well, one gets a chance to qualify into the playoffs bracket, one gets to essentially gatekeep that very same team out of the playoffs bracket.
That's exactly it. And yeah, let's dive on into the individuals and the two teams that will be taking the screen first up. Of course, Radical Rebels versus Grumpy Grapes. Both teams are a bit, they've got a bit to prove coming into tonight. Of course, both teams looking to get themselves plenty of screen time here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, I'll definitely say that this is going to be an absolute bomb burner, no matter what we are going to be seeing, and it will also very much depend on the map that we are going to be talking about very shortly after we run through the rosters as well. But actually, as a matter of fact, let's cast our sight all the way to the actual individual players of each one of the teams. And in comes, well, Radical Up, Mystique, Zero Prince, Allure, Oziash, Corvise with Weasel and Meeps as subs, and Alskar being the coach to the team. Now, Radical Rebels, like I mentioned before, very able team, has a lot of potential. Unfortunately, it's been just a bit of a far too bumpy and a bit of a just hard road for them this season.
Yeah, we're definitely looking to see a lot of them tonight. They can't quite crack on into playoffs, but if they could play upset even just a little bit here, could help Viking Army take that spot. So a win for either of these teams would be big. One, for playoffs, one for, just being able to redeem themselves in the closer. Absolutely,
yeah. Look, team that can certainly pull that off, but against them, well, we do have the only Grumpy Grapes that are going to be versing against them. And look, that team, once again, shown us quite a few promising big plays. Cass, Burnabear, Serenity, Yoshi, Novawick, Cheese, Scoops, and Crescent being the sub players, and Crescent and Weber are being the coaches.
Sorry, I just noticed something. Cass is so good at the game. She has survived in 112% of the rounds she has played. There is no contesting numbers as good as... No, I'm kidding. Much love to the production team. It is a hard yard doing all the stats, but that has definitely put a smile on my face. 112% survivability. That is an impressive stat.
Yeah, Cass is just built diff, man. But yeah, no, honestly, quite a fair few players are the veterans of the Women's League scene in ANZ, and honestly seen quite a fair bit of action. So honestly, they've been improving heaps and heaps upon each and every season. So quite curious to see if they will finally be able to make it into the playoffs bracket and be able to show us what they can do in a best of 3 format.
Yeah, and it'd be one of those teams that have just pushed towards the end of the stage. They've got some big names. They've got some big experience as well. So definitely, they could be ones to control and determine the momentum of this matchup, of course. But where that matchup is heading is our next big question. Which map are we going to be playing here, Cthulhu, in the final week of Season 6? And as we come on through, as we have a look at the maps and a cheeky look at the XP merch coming through once again, we're going to Villa Tuscany on the cards, the lovely picturesque vineyard countryside that it is. We're back to strategy. We're back to the same old. It's Villa once again.
Yeah, look, Villa is it's a quite a vast map. I'll say that. I'm trying to keep
Vast
myself,
doesn't play
from
anymore. Cthulhu, he retired and joined the
yeah,
desk.
yeah. Yeah, look, Vast is no longer Vast, actually, in his performance either. But look, Villa it definitely allows a lot of flexibility, a lot of wide variety of play styles. You can go full-on aggressive. We've seen a lot of expansions across the whole map. We've seen some very turtle-like strats as well, so honestly, one of the few maps that does allow both of the playstyles really thrive in the competitive scene, and it also takes quite some coordination to take it as the attacking side. So honestly, quite keen to see what could be brought out, because it could either go really, really close, borderline overtime, or we could be seeing just Grumpy Grapes turn up and pull out just a cheeky something across the line 7-1, 7-2.
Yeah, like I said, momentum is going to be a key one here going into this matchup. Of course, Villa reasonably strategic, so you need to come in with a game plan. If you underestimate your opponents, you can be quite heavily punished for it. And as we go into the flyout, we look to get things underway, Cthulhu. Honestly, this one is going to be a huge one to kick the night off.
Absolutely. The match to possibly wrap up the last position in the playoffs bracket could certainly be a huge, huge decider. Good luck, have fun. Grumpy Grapes to start things off on the defense attack for Radical Rebels. It is looking to be like Grumpy Grapes could actually kick their match off with a nice initial point advantage, given that the defense does usually favor here in Women's League.
Exactly it. And as we carry on through, Jackal going to be the first ban. No real surprises there. It's a pretty stock standard one when it comes to ANZ Siege. You want to be able to rely on those roamers just a little bit more, give yourself some extra freedom, and that's exactly what we see coming out already for the Grumpy Grapes.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, Jackal out of the equation would certainly make things a whole lot easier for roam to happen, for even just for all the anchor players, because having less utility that makes you just go fidgety all around the defense positions certainly makes things a whole lot easier. Radical Rebels, though, do acknowledge how powerful we'll talk about Fuse later. Pulse can be, especially on the vertical play with the C4s, and well, with him out of the equation, that's one of the FBI operators gone. Last one is going to be Cade, funnily enough. So Mira is actually on board, which will make the defense even more powerful. And with Cade out of the equation, look, it's just back to just very basic breach denial, like Bandit, like Mute, or better yet, just play for the post breach.
I think Pulse might be sending an email to Human Resources after the last couple of messages we saw in all chat, but there is some fans of Pulse already, and must be remembered, we are playing the final play here under the new season, so there are a couple of minor changes which could come into effect today. Yes,
also true, yeah. The bulletproof cameras are now changed about. There were a few balancing changes coming through, and honestly...
Well, even the Maestro cams, believe it or not.
Yes.
So you can't shoot the laser, but you can still rotate them around. So that's so much free information. Cass is unfortunately crashed, so we will have to wait for... Yeah, unlucky. It does happen. But, I mean, look, coming into play... honestly, I'm just genuinely intrigued to see how this new season is going to play out here to close the stage.
Hey, look, I mean, we already got to get our hands on the new season as well, jamming around in casual. I managed to already die at least once to Thorn's mines, the fun times. But honestly, look, I'm more so curious about how will really the gunfights in the utility game go, because I am expecting a lot of shift towards those bulletproof cameras, say over something across the lines of even of maybe barbed wire or even proximity sensors, and from there on maybe playing for just as horrible as it sounds, even more utility, which will make attackers' life even more difficult, because not only you have to deal now with so we can use the fingers to count. Well, my magnets, Jaeger devices, mute jammers, and Mozzie. I'll put this under the same category. The ballistic shields, barbed wire. Now, bulletproof cameras, they can EMP your drone, so technically Twitch can be counted straight off the bat. Maestro cameras that are now rotating around. Well, with the current ban's mirror as well. This is
Cthulhu, there's one
pain.
thing that you haven't even touched on. The changes to guns. The Roni has received a bit of a buff. Ash is back. We know that much for sure. This season is going to be wild. I'm genuinely curious to see whether or not we see players lean back into Ash now that the R4C is, well, back within wilderness status. I mean, before she was an
R4C
beast.
been buffed?
The R4C, it's old Ash. We are back to old Ash territory.
Oh, Christ.
He's not going to help you here, I'm sorry.
Yeah, look, I don't think anything will really help me here. Just remembering the ye old days of just crouched walking, pushing Ash from literally other side of the map, and then in the early meta when Ash's R4C also had an ACOG. Genuinely, look, a few certain cosplays of a certain musician did want it to be performed.
Well,
I'm not going to say that because it's just far too deep into the memes.
Well, look, we're getting into things. Round one coming into play here. You can already see Grumpy Grapes looking to get themselves rounds on the board early. They're heading to split. They're looking for that trophy statuary positioning. In cast, they bring in the castle. They're looking to close down some of those angles. They got that Wemai that you were talking about. There is a lot of utility burn coming in for the Grumpy Grapes.
Yeah, so even in Grumpy Grapes' situation here, you have Goyo to burn, you have the Ballistic Shield of Yoshi to burn, Serenity's Mute Jammers, actually no, scratch that, Mute Jammers can heck off, Novelwick's Magnet Charges, Castle Barricades. You have so many things that you need to either get passed by or just completely destroy, and given that really you might even need to start dipping into the utility of Ace with the Selma charges by the time they make it into the actual site. Not a whole lot of things could really be performed. Serenity has the golden opportunity here to just absolutely ambush their opposition and just completely deny the push, but it seems like her position is being completely evaded. Was she spotted, though?
Yeah, I think you'd have to imagine. Yeah, I mean,
but there was a Mute Jammer. There
Yeah.
was a Mute Jammer, though, by that door, so I don't think she actually fell into the field of view, because you look at Corvise, she's absolutely clueless. Mystique is also there. Aussie Ash has not even scouted one more time. So they are cautious about it. They don't want to push it, but they're not particularly aware that there is a shotgun ready to blast.
Yeah, I think experience would tell you that there is probably someone in that position, but for actual concrete knowledge, yeah, I don't think it is there right now. Mouse one going hard, but Yoshi playing behind him. No. Yoshi, how is Yoshi alive? Still a 90!
No way.
Dave, she's gotten away with daylight robbery. She's gotten away with daylight robbery, and they're about to take Ash as well, but Serenity runs out of ammo, tries to run back into that aviator room, and unfortunately it's not going to be achieved at all.
You could hear in the background the yelling of poor Serenity after she could not get the frag with the whole mag of SMG-11, just trying to run back. And unfortunately, it just doesn't look too good. Neither it is for Zero Prince, who just got absolutely bulldozed by the Vector of Burnabear. And at this point, well, it's all down to Aussie Ash and Allura Viola. And Aussie Ash barely has any HP. Allura still has most of the HP, plus the AK-12, plus the Selma charges. So theoretically, you still have all of the bare bones utility to just still commence the push, but against 4 people, it is going to be rather difficult.
Well, it should be at that. Honestly, this is getting pretty tense at the moment. There is a lot that could give in the moment, but in a 4 versus 2, the health advantage squarely in the favour of the Grumpy Grapes. They should be able to pick this. Yoshi might even bag herself a triple. No, it's Nova chiming in with their first kill, and Burnabear bags a double, so double for Burner and Yoshi, and unfortunately no triple for either of them.
Well, despite all of that, it's still a dub for Grumpy Grapes, which does make things a whole lot nicer, a whole lot better to kickstart their matchup, especially after the fact that there were a few technical difficulties prior to that. But here we are going to be going into AVG now that GG managed to defend Trophy Statuary quite successfully. And going into this one, the only change that we are really seeing, well, 2 changes that we are seeing now, with Serenity bringing in the Melusi, and then Cass bringing in the Valkyrie. Well, hopefully she locks in the Valkyrie. Apart from that, same operators for the rest of the team. And look, I rate this, the introduction of Melusi. I would imagine there's also the bulletproof cameras possibly coming into the play, which on the 90 hallway, say somebody is droning and you can reinforce the position. EMP the drones, look, you won't be at least live drone then, which makes things a whole lot easier, but instead, no, we don't really have any bulletproof cameras. Instead, it's a bunch of impact C4s and a single set of the proximity alarms.
Well,
so much theory crafting, all for nothing.
Yeah, look, a very successful first round for the Grumpy Grapes in their defensive split. Now heading over to the other side of the map. They're looking to do something very, very similar. Serenity, obviously, having picked off the mute here, and now playing on the Melusi, which, I mean, realistically should be able to contest a little bit more comfortably, but hopefully she now has to rely less on the fixed capacity mag.
Yeah, the fixed capacity mag could be a solid idea. Solid play, rather. But look, Panda, whilst we are in a bit of a calm before the storm, I have a question for you. How do you counter Thorn?
Well, you don't have to. She's not in play, Cthulhu. Read the rule book. Jeez.
No, but you have to ruin the joke. God damn it.
How do you counter Thorn, Cthulhu?
Just walk away from it, Lamau.
I mean, yeah, look, not wrong. Technically.
It's in the...
The team up for 2, Cass with a headshot and Burner with a nitro cell. Don't answer the call, folks. Don't do it.
Don't answer the call. Not in Siege, at least. In saying that, and unfortunately for RDC, this means that 2 players short, Nomad and Zofia, out of the equation, which makes the soft breaching job just that more difficult. And without still not really clearing out any kind of positions at Astro, that's 1. In comes 2. No, not yet. Gotta quickly reload, pull the bolt, and go in for another swing, which possibly could net yet another frag, but instead it's Serenity that picks up that one. Allure out of the equation, and meanwhile, Zero Prince is on a completely opposite side of the map, looking to pull a cheeky flank.
Yeah, radical. I mean, Burner Bear, she's got herself 2 doubles in the first 2 rounds of play. Zero Prince alone, isolated away from the diffuser. There's only so much you can do in the situation. There is still a minute 20 to play, though. So, she's being hunted. She's being hunted. They know. Serenity knows. Yeah. Serenity knows! Oh, no! It's about to be a bait and switch. Serenity... Wait, no, Serenity does... Okay, she does know. Okay, hopefully we'll get more information on... No. Okay, she just walked past, turned around. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Well then. A bit of a spook, I would imagine, for Serenity as well. You know, walking about and all of a sudden, oh hey, that's a wild IQ. Right then and there, droning out. Look, Dining Kitchen is now upon us. Tertiary site usually is the site that quote-unquote gets forfeited to the attacking team, but we've seen quite a lot of teams actually nearly make this their primary site, the one that pretty much becomes even more impenetrable compared to all the previous 2 that we just seen. And, well, I was about to, go for yet another theory craft tangent with the castle, but that's not going to be the case. Instead, it's much more flexible. Introduction of Valkyrie, C4s galore, Chanka with the place denial, probably nowadays even more flexible than even Smoke.
Yeah, a lot of teams really favouring him now. They've figured out how to set him up. And, I mean, Burner, honestly, has just been a thorn in the side. They need to find some way to shut her down. Yoshi as well, deathless. In fact, only a single player from Grumpy Grapes has died going into round 3, that being Serenity after that minor misplay with the mutant study. But, I mean, I did say that was the biggest concern coming into this matchup, is Radical Rebels could not afford to let Grumpy Grapes dictate the pace of Villa, and that's exactly what's happening.
That's something that a lot of teams, as a matter of fact, have quite a few occasional issues, but in the case of Radical Rebels, it's just through and through. Unfortunately for them, Grumpy Grapes are just able to enforce this pacing, enforce this playstyle, and really not a whole lot of response from RDC, despite the fact that we are seeing them at least attempt the pushes in a rather coordinated manner. It's just unfortunately those off picks that do happen just don't get refragged, they don't get punished in any shape or form, and in that downtime between the reloads as well, no push is happening. Therefore, well, the aggression is kind of being trampled on by the defense, which disallows really the attack of Radical Rebels to do really anything.
Yeah, there just seems to be an answer every single round, every single play that Radical Rebels are going for. Grumpy Grapes seem to understand and adapt on the fly. But, I mean, it's early enough in this map that Radical Rebels could look to bounce it back, of course. A couple of frags going their way could translate into a big round win for them. The only problem being, of course, if it doesn't come soon, it may not come at all.
Exactly. With third point possibly on the contention for Grumpy Grapes, they are looking to extend the lead even further, whereas on the side of RDC, they want to get as close as possible to equalizing, and Quanvise has the potential to go into that gunfight, but there's already an inkling that there's going to be a swing from that bike room, and Burner Bear has the perfect understanding of that. But in saying that, Radical Rebels has already fallen back. They are looking to try to, go for a bit more of the utility down before they even make the entry into the side, and rightfully so, they want to cut off all of the rotations, minimize the amount of engagements that they have to go through whilst being on the side, and that is exactly what they're looking to do so, but Cass has some other plans in that regard.
That's a cheeky little angle there. Unfortunately, Mystique caught off guard. We are starting to see why they're bringing the Tachanka here in this round. Being able to open those angles with the DP just means that you can contest from longer range. Aussie Ash runs the Gemini into sight, but Yoshi shooting it out will give that information that there are attackers in close proximity to the site right now.
Absolutely. Looking to start collapsing relatively soon with 50 seconds remaining. Some action needs to start happening, and already a jump into the art room. The push into the site is about to commence from the laundry as well, and Serenity will have to help the teammates with Yoshi already picking up the first frag of the push.
Zero Prince falls as well.
Man.
It's just more of these angles that Grumpy Grapes are taking control of right now. Radical Rebels, they're just being outmaneuvered at every single turn. Corvice being taken heavy. Serenity pinching in from the flank finds Aussie Ash down to a single gridlock, and unfortunately another flawless round goes the way of Grumpy Grapes.
These Grumpy Grapes are just being absolutely positively dominating here, and really no chance being given to RDC, no matter how much they tried and no matter how much they want to get it. Well, wanting is one thing, getting to the actual dub, even within the first round, is unfortunately completely the other thing. And for RDC, it's a bit of a tall order at the moment. Yet another switch is actually coming about for the attacking side, and that is the introduction of Zero, which would actually help quite a fair bit, or pause is being called in. Hopefully, maybe.
Cass is having a bit of a struggle at the moment, so hopefully we should get that pause in a moment. No,
or not.
Never
Okay,
mind. All good. So,
I mean, Nuttery wasn't really listening anyways.
No surprises there.
No surprises there. Yeah, look. Man's in another dimension, really, probably.
Man's probably straight vibing.
Oh. All chat's been opened up. Hello. Yeah, we have awoken. But no, despite us talking trash about Nuttery, shout out to the gamer, absolutely phenomenal unit. But for Radical Rebels, yes, to get back to that whole discussion, the introduction of Zero could really help. That is, again, if Zero will be essentially carried through the first half of the map to get close to the site, use those Argus cameras to scout out the whole site, make sure that they checking all of those, itty-bitty small angles that the defenders could tuck themselves in, because that could be the absolute pain in the butt once things do get down to the actual action.
Most definitely. Well, at the moment, a 3-0 start. That's looking pretty phenomenal for the Grumpy Grapes. You look at the players again. 2 flawless rounds so far, and still only that single death. Yoshi is 5-0-1. Bernabes 4-0-1. Between them, that it's 9 unanswered kills. That's truly unfortunate.
There's been already a mention that the whole of Grumpy Grapes team already went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frags, and that is already a good improvement. Serenity about to go in for the swing.
You take that.
Surely the swing comes about. Surely she's the one to swing.
Pre-fight.
Oh.
She's showing some immense patience there, not overcommitting to this swing. And Mystique's looking the wrong way. Yeah, I think this is the right place for Serenity. If she swings here, she is more likely than not going to go down to the trade. No drones again because of that mute jammer in play. Aussie Ash, if she relocates the drone through the vault, she should find one, if not two. The swing there, Yoshi! How are you alive? Shotgun in hand, sees the player, not quite connecting. Yoshi will go down. Do they know that Serenity is there in close proximity, though? Because this could quickly spiral out of control. Oh! No,
the swing comes about. That's 1 pump, 2 pump, 3 pump. No, neither of these do connect. RDC finally on the board in a much better situation than Grumpy Grapes. First time in 4 rounds.
Now, 2-player advantage. Yoshi and Serenity full. Burner Bear still has that chance to keep her health bar nice and full right now. But if things are to carry on with that same trajectory, we could see this one swing back in favor of Grumpy Grapes in a single moment. They've got some incredibly competent fraggers who have just been able to outplay Radical Rebels till now.
Indeed, but it's not over yet either. With 50 seconds remaining, the swings may just come about. Burnabear is still alive. Novawig just picked up a frag for herself, making it a 3v4 with 42 seconds remaining. It's now up to Grumpy Grapes to keep on equalizing this. Now it's a 3v3 with 35 seconds remaining.
With that, we do see Burner hit the 5-0 mark. Aussie looking for a swing. Novawig tucked in behind the statue is in a position where she could be pinched. Spots Aussie, who had no idea that there was a Wimai tucked in behind the statue. Zero walking on the side, about to meet her again. Novawig, it's actually stolen away from her by Kaz, who finds the closer. Grumpy Grapes have somehow stolen the round back. Absolute daylight robbery.
Just as we were thinking that, yeah, look, this is the round that RDC do take. This is where they go and just flat out get it. Well, unfortunately, it was unfortunately for them, very fortunately for Grumpy Grapes, it's them who just get it, make it nice and solid 4-0 scoreline. And in saying that, well, the best case scenario really for RDC here is copying 2 rounds in a row, making it a 4-2 scoreline, and then start their comeback train once they are on the defense. Because if anything goes the way of, say, 5-1, 6-0, it is going to be a very dire situation. And, well, for Radical Rebels, I hate to put it this way, really, they don't have a whole lot of things to really lose, because unfortunately for them, the playoffs position has been already locked out. Really, the only thing that they can play here is for the fun factor, 1, and 2, well, for the upset, if they really want it. But at the moment, it's Grumpy Grapes who are much more persistent on that task to get themselves over into the top 4 position, where again, there's going to be quite a lot of contention, given that, well, for VA, they will need to make sure that they nail their game against Overt, and even then, it may end up coming down to a tiebreaker.
At the moment, again, it's still a case of these rounds are being well and truly dictated by the Grumpy Grapes. I mean, just every single play that we've seen out of them has been one to take control. The way that they're setting themselves up on the map, they know exactly what the game plan is. They are not compromising it for an instant.
Not at all. No compromising, none of that. It's all ready to roll. And well, for Grumpy Grapes, they're about to, well, get back onto their own train, fully set up site for accepting and inviting the attackers to come inside, but not for the team. Well, it's more so just for lead trade-off, and usually that involves a whole lot of pain as well. But for RDC, they are looking to stir up some ruckus around the 90 hallway straight off the bat, whilst applying some pressure from the Master Bedroom. But in Master Bedroom push, they have the Valkyrie and Burnabear as well on the Goyo to contest in Astro. On the other side of the 90 hallway, there's, well, Serenity that is holding a long angle with the SMG-11, so there's already hurdles from the very beginning.
Explosions galore. Mystique taking a huge chunk of damage from Burnabear's Nitro Cell. It's not enough to find the kill, but it will surely set her up for this push now. Free fire, not going to net anything just yet, but a lot of time being wasted, a lot of hesitation being funneled into the Radical Rebels. Unfortunately, they can't take these gunfights on their own terms because Grumpy Grapes won't let them.
But in the moment you say that, it's Novawik who takes just a large chunk of damage, borderline sending her already to the grave, but with just about 1 HP, she's looking to keep on contesting against Zero Prince, who may not be just yet fully aware of just the sheer amount of damage that has been dealt, and finally Allura Viola does get the frag against Bernabe, shuts down that flawless streak that she managed to acquire.
Serenity answers back immediately, they lose the buck, and some of that vertical threat, but Nova working Cass tentatively holding on to that flawless streak for themselves at the moment. When they go down, that will be every single member having died at least. The once Mystique pushes on towards the landing, will rotate back, look to set up some of those Rotero drones with a cam placed towards Classical. Radical Rebels can start to get that key information going.
And there we go, already the Argus camera is starting to come into the play, trying to make sure that they are nailing their own all positions with Cask on as well. Nova Wig barely on any HP. Things are certainly now looking dire for GG, and well, Radical Rebels might just finally be able to score themselves the point, which is very much needed right now. 29 seconds on the line. The bridge is starting to come about. This is where the action happens.
More avenues being opened up. You look at the shotguns in play, and both members wielding the M590s incredibly healthy. Well, that's Mystique to fall. What more can they find? There is a player just on the other side of that wall. Yoshi traded back immediately by Allura. Swinging around, Corvice holding the angle, Serenity shut down. Novawick with a point of health. And unfortunately, it's not going to be done. Radical Rebels finally get themselves on the board. A hard-fought slog to get there.
There we go. Wrapping it up. Definitely a much nicer performance. Took them a little bit to get warmed up and get prepared and keen, but they are finally on the board. 3 more rounds if they do want to equalize it all out, but the best case scenario, like I said, for this very half is a 4-2. So 1 more win that is needed for Radical Rebels to feel just a little bit closer to the comfort zone, and well, from there on, it's all their game to keep on being dictated. Aviator Room and Games is a repick, finally now, from Grumpy Grapes, as they do realize that things could have been done slightly better, and Bernabe switches off the Goyo now in favor of Vigil, realizing how much the drone game has improved from the side of RDC, so saying that a bit more of a emphasis on the personal roam game rather than supporting certain reinforced positions off-site, which is a solid idea. Plus, the introduction of the Rooney with her Surya Gates now will require any form of projectile utility to be now used to essentially drain it out and open it up to be able to walk in without taking any personal damage. So for Radical Rebels, they'll slightly change the amount of hurdles, but again, they now have introduced just about enough utility to be brought on board to just open up the site, get themselves inside of it, get the plant, and then hold it on.
5 seconds left before
Exactly. In the final round of the half, you look at the guns and the operators being brought on the side of the defense. Grumpy Grapes again looking to play out for their aggression, looking to dictate the pace, and with Bernabe on the Vigil. And the way that she's been playing that Goyo as well, I think, is indicative of what you could expect in this round. She's looking to play aggressively. She's looking to determine what, where those points of ingress are for the Radical Rebels, and looking to shut it down.
It does already has the point of just bail out, set up and ready to get away from any unfavorable kind of situation, but instead looks to start actually going for a contest at the 90 hallway. Mystique is about to start making a pressure all the way at the main staircase with already some information being there, but information is slightly delayed or rather outdated. But still, presence nonetheless is there at the top of the stairs, which is going to be proven to be quite difficult to manage and to deal with. And instead, the rest of the other team will look to go in for the push, but so is Bernabe as well.
Cass finding the kill on Mystique, finds the kill on the Zero as well with the side arm. Answered back in the form of Bernabe, but it is only a single kill to the 2. And a bit that were picked up by the Grumpy Grapes in their final defensive round. They are looking to take some big control, and you can see Radical Rebels now a little hesitant to even push into the building, knowing the resistance that awaits them.
Absolutely. Tall order on top of them to try to get it back into their control, into their pace. This is going to be proven rather to be quite difficult. Yet another Argus camera coming about. Allura is just doing her best to make sure that she just gets as much information as possible for any kind of swings, but with those angles being set up, Yoshi could certainly behead any of her opponents, and that is a dangerous prospect given just how early and how eager the the defense is to just start contesting against the attackers and not allowing them to even make an entry into the building.
That's exactly it. Novuk with that angle, trying to deny anyone coming in the study door. Corvice going to push up main stairs, but the procs alarm gives it away. Corvice wins that gunfight, though. That's exactly the sort of start you're looking for in that comeback in round 6. Unfortunately, though, they've still got to find 3 more.
I'll grab us some intel.
As well, with 40 seconds remaining, Allura has taken quite a fair bit of damage from those gas grenades. Oh no, just one more tick away from dying. That is not what you want right now, especially given the fact that Corvice is also tagged out. But with Cas down, this is good. This is a good start for Radical Rebels, but with the time is of the essence.
The SAS duo coming into play here. Serenity looking to get a bit aggressive. Yoshi still there in the vault. It will be Allura the first to fall in the final flurry. 2 versus 2. Aussie Ash as well being threatened. Serenity pulls out the shotgun. It's going to be all over Red Rover. Grumpy Grapes close out the half. A dominant 5-1 showing.
Well. Grumpy Grapes certainly are looking quite keen and ready to push this into their territory to just brute force themselves into the playoffs bracket. And that's something that they could quite easily do, because at this point they'll be quite keenly awaiting for the overt game to wrap up, because this is their opponents, the team that also is currently is also on 9 points, looking to bring the upset to overt, push themselves into that playoffs bracket, go for that tiebreaker contention, which is going to be quite important off the back of the round count differential. And that's something that we'll definitely need to consult with all of the stats at a later date. But for the time being, 5-1, definitely quite a frustrating scoreline to finish the first half on for Radical Rebels.
When the comeback starts now, if they want to get themselves back into it. And I mean, Villa, it is a map that can lean more to the defender side of things. They look to keep their campaign off on Aviator Games, of course, the stock standard in terms of opening bomb sites. But you look at Berta-Bear, that's definitely the one that I'm intrigued by. We see them coming into play from day dot, looking to get that aggression going, that mysticism, I suppose, would be the best way to describe it.
Mysticism indeed. Look, Nook definitely makes you question certain reality, especially once you can't really hear any footsteps or any kind of approach from the operator herself. But certainly I'm quite keen to see what Bernabear could do, because her roam game so far has been really good. She has the potential to just absolutely bring that upset, completely shut things down, divert the attention of the defense to a whole different position, and allow the rest of the attacking team to really go in for goal. So, in saying that, GG already kickstarting their push, kickstarting their offensive. Mystique is looking for a run out, which is going to be extremely dangerous if not accounted for.
That early aggression from Mystique could have paid dividends there. Unfortunately, it's not to be. We'll have to play a little bit more passive for the moment. The last thing you want to do, especially in a situation if you are Radical Rebels, is to be able to be giving away those early picks. Serenity in the IQ, spotting up the gadgetry, looking to clear it out from below, and Bernabear looking to be this unseen force of will against Radical Rebels defense. And you see, we could see the player Elvis spotted, goes for the shot. Unfortunately, missed opportunity there.
Aussie Ash nearly nails a solid headshot onto Bernabear with that pre-fire, but unfortunately can't really find anything. Instead, it's a gunfight against, well, Cass, but neither of them do come off with as a successor. Instead, it's Serenity that cops an L from Mystique.
On the hunt, knowing full well that there is presence downstairs, so they are going to be hunting to try and flush whoever is in the vicinity out. The dual roam down in the basement as Corvice does fall. So Grumpy Grapes, they lose one, but they take one back, immediately cast the frag grenade into the vault. Almost takes out Zero. Allura found as Yoshi bags herself a double. Bernabear playing red stairs, catches Aussie Ash unawares, and all of a sudden, you know, things are spiraling wildly out of control for the Radical Rebels.
Absolutely. Zero Princess solo on the side. There is a roam happening, but now it's a retake for Mystique. 1v4. Yoshi's just off the hook with that AK, and at the moment it's just pure and sheer domination from Grumpy Grapes.
Coverage is vast and widespread. Yoshi 10-2. They see the belt cams, the swing. It's not good enough. Mystique loses out to Burner, who pushes her team onto map point. Cthulhu, this could be absolute domination. We said this is likely one of the more likely results that could come of this matchup.
Yeah, I've initially had the inkling that we could have had a close game, and that is for Radical Rebels to win if they would have pulled off, well, a slightly better performance. Unfortunately for them, it's just Grumpy Grapes are just a one step ahead of them for quite a fair few rounds, which is rather quite unfortunate. But look, it is what it is. That's the nature of the competitive side of Rainbow Six Siege. And for Grumpy Grapes, look, I gotta commend them. They've been performing absolutely a stunning work to so far just keep on pushing themselves into that top 4 position, get themselves into the playoffs, and from there on start the actual grind time to play for the finals.
They want that spot. They can just feel it, how close they are right now. Trophy, statuary on the cards next. What could be the final bomb site of the map right now. And Radical Rebels, I mean, this is the one. This is the one that they need to find success on.
Absolutely. No more chances, no more retries. This is it. If they do lose out this very round, well, Grumpy Grapes walk out with a 7-1 victory for themselves, giving them the much needed, by the way, 3-pointer. And from there on, well, we are going to be moving on to prepping for the second matchup. If not, well, Radical Rebels might just be able to stick around, but they have a very, very tall order of 5 rounds in a row that needs to be achieved to push themselves into the OT to just promise yet another chance to contest for this, to play for an upset, which at the moment looks very, very bleak.
Round is underway, and Aussie Ash again looking to be a bit of a nuisance to any defenders pushing in on the opposite side of the map right now. But ping's coming through. Grumpy Grapes well and truly aware of some of these key positionings, or the window. The window spotted. That would have been a huge tap to the head. Serenity spots it again. And unfortunately, she just can't quite connect.
Serenity a little bit lost for where the actual gunfight is happening. Couldn't really figure out where the damage was about, but that double player roam could actually be quite deadly as well if played right, but instead, well, we just witnessed the Womai of Mystique actually bail out from that position. Allura is still about, so she could really finish up that work on IQ and just completely shut Serenity down. But meanwhile, Bernabe is already out there. Cass is just fragging out. Mystique is about to run into the Nook, and that is not really working out in her favor. But 4v3 is certainly still in play. 4v2, half a round, well, pardon me, just under 2 minutes remaining, and just majority of the players of Radical Rebels, unfortunately, have been already exterminated.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as a frag's found, it's almost immediately traded back. Allura down below does have a nitro cell, could maybe look to make a play off it. The drone, we could see it on the stairs, should see her. No, oh no, the sneak play from Cass. She had an idea, an inkling that there was someone there, leaves it down to 0. No chance, Novovic with the crisp headshot around the corner. They knew exactly where the final player was going to be, and that was on the site. Unfortunately, didn't even get a chance to see her killer in that situation. Grumpy Grapes take a commanding 7-1. They're looking to set themselves up for that playoffs run.
3-pointer is exactly what Grumpy Grapes wanted here, and sure, they got it. A phenomenal, stunning performance from that team. Unfortunately for RDC, that about wraps up the season for them, and that was quite an unfortunate turnout, I gotta say. The team that, like I said, has plenty of potential, but it just did not work out quite well for them. Whereas for Grumpy Grapes, yeah, look, finally the grind is paying off. They are finally in that contention for the playoffs bracket, which I think they've been in before, but it's been a bit of a rough one once it came down to the actual playoffs. So we are possibly looking at them to just keep on pushing even further, because that kind of coordination that they've shown both on the attack and on defense been genuinely very well coordinated.
And now it was a pretty quick one, so we won't know for sure just who is going to make it through into that top 4, until we come back from the break. So when we do come back, we'll find out that information. We'll pass it on to you, and we'll close out with our final match of the evening. We'll see you soon.
I can picture what you're thinking of. My imagination's not enough. Oh, no, it's not safe to say what you're always looking for. Hey, someone to make you feel like. Don't wanna think of all the who's that you can pick and choose. I wanna make you feel like. Talk about us like you want it. Stop talking like, ooh, we ain't lost it. You don't seem to know, ooh, you're on cruise control. Don't wanna think of all the rules that you can pick and choose. I wanna make you feel like.
Got no. Got no.
Didn't say much. Left it too late now to apologize. Oh, time has gone too out. With memories to burn down and empty sympathy. Your followers know it now.
That'd be because I forgot to unclick the button. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
What I was saying, back hot off the back of our first victory of the evening, Radical Rebels fall to Grumpy Grape 7-1 over on Villa. And look, it was a match that was determined from start to finish. Grumpy Grapes are the ones in control.
Yeah, look, a matchup that honestly, I thought that we would go for quite a bit longer between RDC and Grumpy Grapes, but unfortunately for RDC, Grumpy Grapes were just a little bit far more prepared than one could have really expected. A 7-1 is the conclusion of that whole matchup, that whole fiesta, and the leader of that fiesta, well, turned out to be Yoshi with a whopping 10 bomb that was dropped there with only 3 deaths, following. Though it's Bernabe and Cass that were leading the charge with her with 8 frags both, and look, honestly, performing some absolutely phenomenal feats. On the side of RDC, unfortunately, things went much more quieter. Corvise did her best, but unfortunately, 5-7 is the only thing that she ended up settling with.
Yeah, I mean, look, 2 4.0 KDs followed closely by that 3.3, some big numbers across the board. And we did say that it was going to be the team that dictated the pace throughout the match that was going to be the one to come out on top, and that's exactly what happened. Grumpy Grapes were in charge and absolutely large throughout the majority of it. You look at it, 3 players sitting on a 75% survival rating. The only player who, had less than 2 players, that had less than a kill per round were Nova and Serenity, and even still, every single player on that team went positive. Big stuff from the girls to close out the round robin.
Absolutely. Look, shown a phenomenal time. It's still yet to be actually decided who is the winner between the Viking Army and Overt, which is going to be the big decider ultimately who will end up contesting for that 4th position. But in saying that, for the time being, Grumpy Grapes have achieved their 3-pointer, pushing for now at least themselves into that top 4 and knocking Viking Army out of the equation. Warriors, as expected, quick, solid job against Vulpes, done in a 7-0 manner. And now upon us, well, whilst we are waiting for Overt, the game to finish, it's Forsaken Boba versus Fallen Angels.
Also worth noting, of course, that was they finally achieved it. They got it done and dusted. The 7-0 round robin for the Warriors too. So big stuff from them. But Forsaken Boba, you're right. And Fallen Angels next up on the cards to close out the round robin and our evening, of course. Fallen Angels, I mean, this is prime time to play upset here.
Absolutely. Fallen Angels could certainly make a huge play here. They still have quite a solid potential to just absolutely play to their heart's content. But Forsaken Boba, a team that really brings in a lot of promise, given the fact that they only had only a couple of losses really there, I believe. But look, let's have a look at the actual roster itself. Fish, Noodle, Diana, Chloe, Repel, and Bubba, with Coney as the sub-player and coach being Wazoo, or aka the OCL player for F5. And honestly, the roster of just each and one of those players absolutely just cracked on the sticks.
Now, we've had confirmation. So the girls are playing at I believe it was LAN Center, we were told. So they've got together, they're in the same facility. So Fish Noodle apparently is playing under the name MLG Taco Wrestler, so if you get confused when she does come on screen, that is who is playing. But across the board, not only have you got some of the best players in the region, Diana, one of the most audacious players in this competition, is not one to shy away from the risky plays. You've also got someone like Repel, one of the best minds of the game, one of the best observers. So honestly, the understanding that she brings to this roster could be pivotal.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Repel definitely has the large brain activity there going for her, and certainly could bring in quite a lot of upset potential there as well. Against them, though, Fallen Angels roster looking to bring in yet another heater for themselves. The team that relatively is fresh to the whole scene. We do see Crystal returning back to the play, Nez, Luxie, Izumi, and Queen AFK making the appearance throughout the whole of this stage, and Shift Potato and Imizi being the sub-players with coaches Isildur and Shiv Bond as well. So honestly, quite a nice, solid roster. Nez already shown herself as the big shotgun queen for Fallen Angels, and certainly being able to deliver quite a few very big plays to keep the team on the board. But today, in a similar fashion, how it was a tall order for RDC, for Fallen Angels, it is yet another going to be a trial by fire.
That is exactly it. Hopefully, Hopefully it isn't going to be too hot for them. We could be done very quickly. We could be hanging around for a little bit longer, of course, depending on what Fallen Angels bring. They're a little bit newer to the competition, so I mean, there's not an overwhelming amount of expectation. They're a team that can come into this. They could really play it however they should choose. They could sweat it out if they want to. They could just have a bit of fun. It is really like there is literally there could not be less pressure on their shoulders. But going to the map veto, of course, will determine where things play out for us. And we went for Villa, map 1. We're going to be going to Chalet for the next one. So still that European holiday continuing here. From Tuscany, Italy, we're heading over the French Alps. It's going to get a bit cold, so make sure you bring your jacket, Cthulhu. I mean, look, this is a map where you can have a bit of fun. You've got a lot of freedom.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Chalet is an even more flexible of a map. You have plentiful areas for the entry for the teams. You have plentiful ways to just go about any kind of entry, any kind of fragging, and certainly the sites do allow that for both parts to really go for. So honestly, yeah, I'm just excited to see what could both of the teams really do here. As Chalet definitely being one of the big player and fan favorites throughout a multitude of leagues, including OCL as well in Stage 3.
Yeah, and well, as we look to get into it, I mean, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of freedom. You can have a lot of fun with this map. I'm expecting some of those audacious players. I'm expecting the weird and the wonderful when it comes to the strategy and the setup. Honestly, I would be surprised that if we don't get some crazy run-out spawn peak attempts, especially the likes of Solarium, the likes of Mezzanine, you can get away with some absolutely bizarre stuff. So, I mean, look, push the envelope. It's your opportunity to do it. It's the last match for Fallen Angels. Why not take a few risks and have a bit of fun?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen even, I've touched up on, I think, last even week on this, that in OCL for the last week, we've seen the roster of Warriors completely negate the whole idea and the meta of bringing in the hard breaches, and instead they've just dedicated themselves to just bringing in the secondary hard breaches across 3 or 4 operators, which allowed a lot of flexibility, including Fuse that I've just ever since then been adoring. And honestly, yeah, for a map like Chalet, Fuse actually would be a very powerful pick.
Yeah, as we head on into things, of course, I mean, we've seen that sort of meta establish itself for the map. We know, for the most part, how it is going to be played, and really, there's a lot we were hoping that some of those expectations, the boundaries get pushed a little bit. With Fallen Angels starting off with the defense, I mean, they could really start to rack up some rounds.
Absolutely. They could certainly bring in the heat here, looking to just absolutely dominate. But the first step to all of that is obviously going to be the ban phase, and well, ban there will be. Jackal yet again out of the equation, and understandably so. The operator can bring in a lot of pain, especially to the roamers, and make even the anchors just feel completely fidgety and, well, powerless in some of the engagements.
That is the aim. Thatcher as well off the board, so sticking with your tried, your true, your standard. Not going to be going too risque in the ban phase, understandably so. Heading onto the defense, you're expecting something like a Mirror, something like a Valkyrie, maybe even leaning into that Cade potentially here.
Yeah, look, a Cade pick could actually be quite huge here as well, but instead it's going to be firstly a Mirror, full well understanding how powerful she can be against some of these picks, and well, on a map like Chalet, absolutely devastating force, really, to be reckoned with. Last final ban coming out, this time from Fallen Angels, who are going to be starting things off on the defense. And I mean, yeah, look, you're not disallowed to ban Thorn, despite the fact that she is still in competitive quarantine. But in saying that, well, with her out of the equation, that leaves a lot more area now for the defense to use.
Yeah, and well, that freedom we could start to see come into play. Fallen Angels there. Look, Thorn ban. I wouldn't say we're probably going to see it when she actually comes into competitive play, but maybe just getting yourselves prepped is the way to go.
Yeah, you know, gotta start familiarizing, given the fact that Thorn could be quite a frustrating operator to really deal with once the competitive ban is lifted from the operator and she will be let out into the field. I am, though, quite curious how will something across the lines of Osa will really start working out, and I'm definitely curious if she's even going to be allowed during the playoffs time, because she could actually shape the battlefield quite thoroughly, and that's something that I'm very much looking forward to.
We will have to. We will have to see. We see the cap can. That's what we're going to see first, of course. We're going to bar gaming, so this is tried and true. Basically, where everyone looks to start things off on the map. But you look at the setup that's being brought from the side of Forsaken Boba. They've got Fish Noodle, aka MLG Taco Wrestler on the sledge. They're also bringing the buck, so they're playing heavily into that verticality and no real priority around the hard breaches. So I think they have an understanding that it's not going to be the most necessary thing in the setup.
I mean, understandably so. Look, the vertical play is not. Vertical play is the one to really go for. We haven't really seen too much of the hard breaching game to be brought on board, bar maybe occasional Thermite, maybe occasional Hibana. For the way how Forsaken Boba could be playing this out, I definitely I'm curious how will they be able to really adjust this whole playstyle, given that, it's not Coastline that allows you to just flat out ignore the whole role of a hard breacher, but could certainly be something to keep an eye out for some cheeky, tricky material and some of the cheekiest, breakiest plays as well on top of it all.
We should be getting underway in just a moment. There we go. No, still nothing. No confirmation. It's all a bait and switch. I blame Nuttery again, unfortunately. It's it's always Nuttery's fault. He's the one to blame. He can't defend himself on broadcast, so we'll just keep going with it. Yes, I can.
Kick him whilst he's still there.
But look, carrying on into this, where we are at the moment, Forsaken Boba, they have the advantage given that they've had the stronger season. Unfortunately, Fallen Angels can't find themselves in the same spot. But I mean, they've shown those moments of promise where going into next year, you could definitely expect them to do big things.
Oh yeah, 100%. Look, I would be quite surprised if we won't be seeing them, come back to form, come back to all of that, and see if maybe they can bring in something different to the plate as well. Oh, first round is upon us. We do see the introduction of the cap can straight off the bat for Izumi, which could mean that, some trap play could be there. The double stacking of the cap can traps on those doors could also help quite a fair bit for that passive, quote-unquote, damage. And, there it is already straight off the bat, the showcase of that. Actually, a triple. Is that a triple? Yeah, it is a triple. Yeah, triple stack of the Capkin charges to make sure that even if one gets shot out, that's only to give the fake sense of security, and after that is just get quite an explosive conclusion to the round for one of the players. But apart from that, Forsaken Boba are looking quite poised to just flat out flood the site, get in through the double window, and get the plant and keep on rolling.
I mean, what is it that they say? If you want a job done, do it big. 3 Capcan traps on a doorway definitely speaks big to me. The biggest question, though, is who is going to be the unwitting fool that walks straight through it and, gets blown to Kingdom Come?
Suppose we'll have to see, because so far at the moment it's just the conventional gunfights that Nez looks to take up herself with the skill cannon, but that's going to be completely denied. That's a frag grenade straight to the face.
Well, apparently, may or may not be the case. The girls playing in the LAN facility right now have Coach Wazoo as well behind them, so he's going to be, he's going to be doing the old coach walk. I would not even be surprised if he's in a suit and tie with his little notebook. Chloe tries to go for the 180, but Crystal is going to be the one to take him down in that engagement. Unfortunately, back at a 4-4, and Fallen Angels, I mean, they're looking to do some damage.
Oh, absolutely. Damage is certainly going to be dealt one way or another, no matter how much you looking to see at it or to trying to look at it. Really, minute 40 to go, and Queen AFK is already trying to just play for that anchor play. Crystal, okay, back to it, back to the computer, back to reality. Diana is the one that says, "Whoop, there goes gravity."
I see what you did there. I rate it. Right now, gravity could potentially be the biggest the downfall of the Fallen Angels, because, I mean, the last thing you want to have to deal with is gravity. And, Fish Noodle uses the vert, Luxie falls, and another Angel full serve.
Good one. Look, yeah, the vertical gameplay seeming to be just working out perfectly well, and the Crystal is being the last player standing, looking to try to pull off any form of upset, and at the moment nothing is yet to come about it because it's Diana to wrap it all up there, and really it's just clean deal really for Forsaken Boba. They're starting things off quite well for themselves.
Upsetty spaghetti right now in that round, unfortunately. Fallen Angels. Look, I rate the attempt to go for the skill cannon play. Unfortunately, Forsaken Boba are a team that, I mean, head on shoulders doesn't even begin to describe it. And Izumi, that is a big no-no there, unfortunately, on that one, Chief.
Yeah, bit of a X. Maybe it's just for the player card, because you know how you can customize the actual player cards rather than the actual uniform, which has been actually now finally added into the thing, so you can finally have your spooky Halloween skin whilst also having just breakdancing on the floor. Izumi just likes op cards, and can't blame her. Just waiting for the resolution on that end, but apart from that, a 6-pick onto Caveira for Nez could actually be an interesting one, given the fact that Nez could certainly bring in the pain if she manages to go for a very elaborate roam.
Well, we will have to see, of course, just how things go. I'm excited for the Caveira. That's all I can really say.
So am I, Panda. So am I. Quite keen to see what could be really played out there. But yeah, timer has been reset. We are back into the play. Izumi, drumroll. I believe she is on the default skin, which is all good, all fine, all dandy. Player cards are customizable for anyone who is still yet unaware with the new season that just came in as well. So you can go hard with all the fashion and all of the bait and switches and however you want to call it. And it just definitely just allows you to, well, maybe even flex your wallet, given just the fact how occasionally, well, the elite skins are just excessively expensive.
Oh, look, I'm excited to see just how much that impacts play going into the the OCN finals and NAL finals, and people having those player cards with elites on them, and then Edmund's
like, oh my god, he's cheating.
100%. It is just going to cause an absolute mess at some point in the very near future.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Well, already a spawn peak is ramping up. That is Izumi holding her angle from the trophy room, but nobody is yet to come her way. As a matter of fact, not a single person has spawned around that area, and instead it's a completely opposite side of the map, which does, pretty much now promise for Forsaken Boba. Nice and chill so far entry into the building, but they are not looking to play it chill. They are not looking to show any chill, as a matter of fact, given the fact that, well, they are looking to go in for the frag entries, and already I believe the entry through the snowmobile garage has been made, so now it's just a matter of time before all the frags start just bursting out.
A lot of presence down in the basement here for Boba. They're looking to get themselves in from the bottom up clear, which is not something that you often see. But on a map like Chalet, you can get that vert from long range, from Car Garage or over towards Solarium. So they have those options available to them, and the rest of the team looking to get that information up on the top floor, so they can almost execute somewhat of a pinch onto the side.
Pinch onto the side could actually quite work here, I reckon. Could be big, given the fact that Forsaken Boba have plenty of practice in that area for themselves. They have the area of expertise, and they are followed up by Coach Wazoo as well, who could do quite some phenomenal things prior to that. So looking to see what could be done here. But apart from that, I mean, look, with Crystal unfortunately already meeting her demise here to the hands of Forsaken Boba, already the entry's there.
The site, yeah, Diana's in. I did say she's not one to shy away from the bold and the wonderful. They absolutely flood on through. It's Nez alone having to try and clutch up against 5. Could be a perfect flawless round. No, Diana drop. Impact Pokeball catch. Diana has been found, and unfortunately, she is now one of the members of Forsaken Boba's Pokemon team.
Well, given the fact that, recent Pokemon iteration has been dropped once again, yeah, she's definitely looking to pull some cosplays, but at the moment there's quite a nasty surprise both below and above her, and both of it is called death, really, and unfortunately for her, for F5, well, it's a 2-pointer now. Face planted, by the way, into the wall.
Yeah, I love Pokemon. Look, Nez knows what's up. Nez is a player of taste here in the Women's League.
A gamer of acquired taste, and certainly does show that, able to find some quality set of frags, but that unfortunately does not provide the actual points for the team. That's quite unfortunate. What is fortunate, though, is for Forsaken Boba. They're all good, they're all sorted, all fine and dandy. On the 2-point already, 2-point advantage as well on top of that against Fallen Angels, and for Fallen Angels they are still looking to change things around, and that change is coming in form of Clash, looking to, slow things down just a tiny bit, because given the fact how aggressive Forsaken Boba were so far, slowing things down is definitely going to be the name of the game here for FA, and certainly looking to play around the Clash, given that there's also smoke. If Izumi does decide to, go into a collab with Nez, certainly could bring in quite a intoxicating combination.
Well, we'll have to see how things do progress from here. Just waiting on confirmation. From the sounds of it, they don't have SSDs at the Internet Cafe, so it takes a little bit longer to load on in. So Fallen Angels, they're getting plenty of screen time right now. They're making the most of it. Izumi saying hello to the fans at home.
Nice LAN cafe. Definitely high quality, it seems. But yeah, look, this does give us a little bit more time to theory craft about the whole wine cellar and snowmobile garage, given the fact that it is a tertiary site. Well, really, not even tertiary. It is considered one of those offsites that not a whole lot of teams really practice. It is a little bit too open-minded for the defense. You do need to have quite a thorough amount of the roam to actually make it perfectly well to play, and against the lineup that so far F5 been bringing, it could be difficult.
I just got some confirmation. Viking Army beat Overt 8-6. Cheeky little stat there for you.
Cheeky indeed. Actually, let me real quick check something. Okay, so here's something funny for you, Panda. Now Overt, Viking Army, and Grumpy Grapes are currently sitting on 12 pointers. So a 3-way tiebreaker is upon us. And last time, prior to the beginning of this playday, Viking Army had only a singular round differential against Grumpy Grapes. Do you know what that means?
That gets funky.
That gets funky, and there is a possibility that Viking Army has just been, despite their win, off the back of round differential, if I'd done my maths right, they have been knocked out by Grumpy Grapes because Grumpy Grapes just took a 7-1 victory.
That is going to be soul crushing.
Attackers need to locate
that is truly heartbreaking. Yeah, round differential being the first decider. That's rough. We'll have to get confirmation. The league admins know more about it than we do. We don't get to make those kind of calls because usually we make them wrong. But look, here round 3 down to the basement, we finally look to load on in. But in saying that, we have enough utility to clear out what is being set up to deny the breach. This should be a free snowmobile wall.
Oh yeah, it still should be a relatively free
10 seconds to
free
go.
take, and still should be quite a few interesting opportunities for the teams to really take here. But my main point of concern is how are they going to conduct their run? Because so far, all I'm seeing is Nez on the West Main stairs, I believe, and looking to essentially play around that trench entry. But the way how Forsaken Boba are already making an entry, this is a blue tunnel push with the SASG.
It's the sausage for Diana here. 3 finger boosts in play, and well,
not the laser beam though, as one would remember, because they actually nerfed Finker, if you remember. No more of the recoil buff.
Oh, so close to Crystal losing out there. That could have been absolutely massive for Boba, but okay. Did not expect the pocket Banshee though.
Yeah, Pocket Banshee is something that seems to be quite a different setup, but that does make sense, as in it works into this very situation for Fallen Angels player, and certainly would make things a whole lot more difficult for F5 to keep on pushing. That is an interesting point of entry, and meanwhile there is some vertical play being conducted by the rest of F5 players. A few frag grenades could be tossed in that could dish out quite some punishment, and meanwhile it's a bit of a slower approach comparative to the previous 2 rounds.
They want to get that vert, they want to control as much of the site. Oh, Siege timing! It is a beautiful and fickle thing. Unfortunately for Fallen Angels, it is going to cost Nez her life. Brutal.
Rather unfortunate turnout there for Nez. Already just can't really be able to get a break really from all of this, and it's just looking just worse and worse, compounding losses left, right and center, which is not particularly helping either. Now with a 2v3, this is all looking very dangerous, very scary, given that it's all up to Luxy and Azumi, both players yet to get on board, and Azumi, look, last player standing. Luxy could not, unfortunately, able to withstand the MLG Taco Wrestler, and, well, now it's Azumi's time, with 1 HP and a dream.
Absolutely fried. Not really how you want your taco, usually it's more grilled. That is the play on those, but the smoke, hey, even a bit of smoke coming into play. Maybe Forsaken Boba. It works out. It's all just a beautiful mesh of flavor. But right now, Izumi has to try and go for that defuse. Does have toxic canisters in play, so might be able to cut off some angles, but doesn't have a heck of a lot of health to work with in this situation. Going to rotate back towards blue, trying to find whatever information is going to be presenting itself to her. Unfortunately, 2 very healthy players to the side of Forsaken Boba. Time ticking away. Toxic canister to cut off the rotate, but Chloe doesn't need to. Straight in towards Wine. Looking to get aggressive. Pistol out. Decides better if it goes back towards the C8. Nazumi full white screen. In trouble. Both players at back white screen, but Chloe gets enough information. That dying moment is able to clean it up.
A little bit of a dicier situation there, I have to say, for Forsaken Boba, but that's partially upon them, given that they just ended up toying with their prey for a brief moment. But 3-0 so far. Look, Fallen Angels is a little bit of a dire situation, unfortunately, for them. But for Forsaken Boba, look, they so far looking pretty strong, looking to continue the pacing that they are looking to pose during the playoffs at a later date. Now looking to just get the final playdate all done and dusted, and essentially just keep on rolling. Slightly just a few issues with loading in the players, so we're just waiting for that to happen. The SSDs are unfortunately probably not at the right tier where the cafe wanted it to be, but
Toxic Observer.
No comment on that.
When did Cafe Dostoevsky get a PC lounge? That's my question.
That's a good question. I would be actually quite keen for like the ability to have like a customizable map. Cafes are usually slow. I have a different opinion of that, but
lucky?
Yeah, I'm lucky.
I don't know. Cafe plays pretty quickly, if I'm being perfectly honest. Having witnessed it several hundred times in my time casting Rainbow Six Siege, but look, maybe I'm the one that's out of touch.
No, it's all the. Actually, no, that I'm not going to continue that one. Look, Cafe could certainly be one of those quick ones, but
to be fair,
certainly not the one that they are in.
The last time I went to an internet cafe was a wee while ago now. I mean, we're talking
having a boomer status.
No, we're talking like pre-COVID, so like 2019.
Ah, right, okay. I was about to say you were about to drop like 2005 or 2000s,
No, just pre-COVID. Jeepers.
Pre-COVID, right?
What do you think of me? Far out.
I don't know. Occasionally, a dinosaur, maybe.
All right. I see how it is. We've lost Fish Noodle. Your toxicity has transferred into the game. and they've lost the player.
Yeah, look, quite unfortunate. Maybe we shall return her from the prehistoric era at some point. But look, quite unfortunate there for Fishnell. This does serve as a bit of a break for both of the teams, and that could have the potential of breaking the whole pacing, the whole momentum that Forsaken Bubble were able to gain, and that gives a little bit of time for Fallen Angels to really talk about what exactly is happening, what they need to adjust, what they need to do to really start beating their opponents.
I mean, that's obviously the first step towards victory that you want to be taking at this stage. But I mean, a 3-0 start, that is pretty phenomenal on the attack for Chalet. If they continue this momentum, if they can keep these rounds pumping out, they surely would be taking a very commanding half in the hole.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a full-on chance for that to happen, and I wouldn't put it past that is exactly something that team is looking to put on, the kind of performance. But look, I mean, I don't want to call it just here yet, but I am personally getting some vibes of similar to how RDC versus Grumpy Grapes have worked out. Similar to something over scoreline 7-2, 7-1 is certainly so far creeping in, despite the fact that, look, Fallen Angels have managed to show us quite a close round in round number 3, but unfortunately just couldn't really get it to that finishing line.
Yeah, look, there's a lot to be said for the unfortunate, round now that we find ourselves in, obviously with the connection issues and the loading issues. Maybe the gimmick may not have been worth it. Maybe they should have just played at home. Who can say? Who really can say at this stage?
Not me. I can't really say anything just yet about it. Well, technically, actually, I said it all, but anyways. Honestly, just look, Forsaken Boba so far looking quite dominant, quite solid, and that is exactly what they need to keep up. Because from there on, it's just very much just depending on their own pacing, and if they can keep it up, if they can keep up this kind of pressure that they are applying on Fallen Angels, they could quite certainly just keep the ball rolling. For Fallen Angels, though, the main issue that so far been seen is just a lot of those gunfights that do happen are ending up being those isolated 1v1s that for Forsaken Boba, they're very happy to take those. It's something that is borderline now becoming their forte, and being able to take those gunfights very cleanly is something that has been enabling them to make their way onto the site very quickly without much of a pressure, without much of an issue, and it's just kind of all the way kind of rolling from there on.
Well, we are still waiting on confirmation as to what is going to be the play here. Of course, players need to get themselves back in so that we can get underway. I mean, I don't think we saw a single round there from Forsaken Boba. There wasn't, some iteration of a heavy aggression rush play.
Look, I mean, I wouldn't exclude that rush plays could still continue happening from F5, given just how successful it was for them. It's something that they managed to exercise quite thoroughly and still being able to come out on top. And it's something that, like, that momentum play that they are able to gain at the beginning is certainly something that I don't think Fallen Angels have yet mastered. So maybe this is something for some food for thought for FA to really go about.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, there should be confidence that Forsaken Boba could close this one up, because they have just been in command from start to finish. I think if they were to somehow let it slip from here, yeah, that would genuinely get a little bit concerning. You'd wonder just how this sort of happened, and if it does get, even more downhill from there, then it's an interesting. We are having confirmation. The last player is loading back in now. Then we can look to get things underway. The question, and I'll pose this one to you here, Cthulhu. What do we see that final score ending up at? Do we see this continued momentum for Forsaken Boba, where they look to close it out, the clean 7-0 across the board? Or are we going to see Fallen Angels off the back of this minor break we've had really bring it back?
Look, I think the answer to this will actually fully form at the conclusion of the next round, because this will finally prove us whether F5 didn't really lose any kind of momentum, or rather whether they did it or not. And if they haven't really lost any momentum, I'm quite certain that this might end up just wrapping up in 7-1, 7-2. If Fallen Angels do start coming back, I could definitely see something cross the lines of a 7-5 to really happen. But again, for Fallen Angels, this is still, no matter which one of the outcomes, it is still going to be a difficult road.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that last player to get on in so we can kick things off once again. For now, though, I mean, 3-0, the momentum is there. It really should just carry on Forsaken Boba's way. But we know here in the Women's League, stranger things can happen in the heat of the moment. Momentum can shift on a dime. Fallen Angels, they want to get themselves some rounds up reasonably soon.
Yeah. Fallen Angels certainly want to just break this whole pace, break this whole momentum as early as possible to disallow any further progression that their opponents were able to achieve, and that is something that they have been looking into. They were able to nearly do it in the previous round, but unfortunately just nothing tangible has been achieved, and that is something that they have been looking into, whether it's in the utility of bringing in somebody like Melusi, whether it's for some of the gunfights that with the attempt of Vigil or maybe Caveira, and neither of those things unfortunately have been yet working out. Maybe it's just a matter of a site, because we still yet to see, I believe, the kitchen and dining, and that is one of the sites that even throughout the whole OCL has been one of the deadlier ones that is incredibly difficult to attack, especially if you drain the time right, if you force the attackers to go in for the push upstairs and from there on and kind of play for vertical. But the issue being, yes, you can drain out the time, but the vertical play so far from Forsaken Boba has been absolutely just clinical.
So we have confirmation.
Ooh.
Our last player has loaded in. We're just waiting
Finally
to get those sorted, and we should be able to kick things off once again. Well, here we are. We're back into it, Cthulhu. The round will be getting back underway. It took us a while. We had to drag out for a little bit there, but we're finally back in, ready to kick things off once again. Bandit, Tachanka, Wemai, Ella, and Melusi on the defense said, well, Fish Noodle is choosing violence at the resume.
Yeah, introducing Blackbeard into the mix could certainly make things a little bit more spicier. Given the fact that this is Master Bedroom and Office, it is going to be one of the more perfect operators, or rather perfect setups for this operator to be brought on board. Either the contention by the double window into the bathroom, bedroom, to cut off some of the rotations, or better yet, at the trophy stairs, and to play for the long angles, borderline nearly into the office as well, to a certain degree, or rather even just a small walk-in closet within the master bedroom. So quite a few possibilities there to be done, plus Flores on top of it all to open up even more of the soft walls and thermite, plus Zofia combo that could do a lot of work. And Chloe on Buck as well. I mean, look, she's been already practicing it from the earlier on today during the afternoon, and she's been absolutely a cracking shot. So we'll just hopefully the cafe PCs will finally load in, and we will hope that neither of the players accidentally pulled on a Ethernet cable or whatnot. But fingers crossed. I'm just gonna say all that.
Could you imagine? I can, sadly enough, but right now we're just waiting on the load. Yeah, this is easily going to be the longest Women's League match in history that still somehow ended in a flawless run. Forsaken Boba, 3-0. Can they make it 4-0? What do you reckon? What are the odds?
4-0 is certainly still on the table. Forsaken Boba could certainly bring it over if they haven't really calmed down or dropped down any of their pace, momentum, and hype. They could certainly still bring it in. Certainly, I can tell you from the way that they're picking the operators, they certainly have a solid idea as to where we're going. And finally, Panda, the round number 4 is upon us.
The year is 2076. We've finally gotten into round 4 of the final match of the round robin for season 6 of the XP Esports Women's League. We had to hold all subsequent seasons until we got this match underway.
Maybe if Forsaken Boba actually wins out the whole, playoffs bracket, maybe they could, donate some money to upgrade some of those PCs at the cafe. Because look, I mean, the average SSD to just hold a single game, you're probably looking at like 150, if maybe like 250 on average. So,
I
to upgrade all of the PCs,
you were going to go a different direction with that. I thought you were going to be like, if Forsaken Boba win, it will be because they outlasted their opponents and didn't die first from old age. But at the moment, we're in round 4. Yeah. We're here. We've at least got that underway. Whether or not they can continue this flawless run is on Fallen Angels. Hopefully, they can at least hold out for the remainder of the half. Either way, we know it's probably going to be a little bit ruthless.
Oh man. Yeah, it's going to be ruthless indeed, given that Forsaken Boba are looking to be a little bit, deadly, I was about to say, but I didn't expect it to be in this kind of context, with Fish Noodle now gone. Goodbye, GN. That's Blackbeard gone and out, and I believe that maybe it was just for the skin that was equipped for Blackbeard, which is rather unfortunate.
No, it was just there is an unwritten rule in Rainbow Six Siege: you do not play Blackbeard under any circumstance, and I think Forsaken Boba respecting that rule here.
Possibly. Wouldn't put it past at all. Look, Forsaken Boba 0-3 on the lead so far, but Butt makes it a 4-4 scoreline. Looking to find yet another opening. That is Chloe looking to find yet another swing, but so far just the pixels are not aligning there for her. Queen AFK takes a little bit of damage, so is Crystal. And at the moment, it's a bit of a slugfest, really. But given the fact that Butt is making an entry, F5 are just on the roll. It's all down to Izumi and Crystal, and things are yet again looking very bleak.
Somehow Butt sneaks away, and Izumi knows it is the M870 as well. Something is about to give. Does Butt crack the headshot, or is it going to be the M870 from Izumi just hollowing out her ribcage, nitro cell deep? It's not going to be enough, but it will give away her position. So she is more than likely being hunted. Plant is down, pistol out, long range spots Diana. Decent little shot to the hip. Tags are up quite heavily. Izumi can make some big plays happen. The M870. Oh, there we go. That's one, but was low enough that it's there to finish her off. 14 seconds. A second. Diana falls. The early work paying off. Not much time left on the defuse, and in fact, none at all. Forsaken Boba will put us again into that very long loading screen, but Repel Mandy, the goat on the sticks and in the game, helps Izumi slam her forehead into a bookshelf.
Izumi will be a little bit upset about that one, given that yet again, the opportunity was there. It was a 1v1 situation that Fallen Angels could have done it, but Forsaken Boba, fortunately at the moment, unfortunately for Fallen Angels, very fortunate for Forsaken Boba, they just continuously keep it on rolling at the moment.
Are you ready for the loading game?
We're back at it again, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Quite unfortunate it is.
Back
at it again.
Damn, Daniel.
Damn, Daniel. Yeah, look.
No, please, no. Please, no, Alex, don't do it to us. Back
Hello.
on the cams. Hello, welcome back. It's we might do that. We've just been told we're allowed to go to break. Our one break throughout the broadcast. We've got to use it sparingly. Cthulhu. Do we call it now? Do we go for the break now, or and risk maybe having to not have it later on because Alex is not very nice and only gives us the one? We'll try to a break when we come back. Hopefully, round 5 will get underway. We'll have to see, obviously, whether we go to another break later on. But for right now, we'll be back soon.
nonsense. We've had enough of this nonsense.
Send your podcast to the great point. Send your podcast to the great point. Hey, put you in your place, look. Leave your thoughts on the floor like Facebook. Yo, got them from great boy. Send your podcast to the great point. Hey, put you in your place, look. Leave your thoughts on the floor like Facebook. Send your podcast to the great boy. Send your podcast to the great boy. Send your podcast to the great boy. Send your podcast to the great. Send your podcast to the great boy. Hey, put you in your place, look. Leave your thoughts on the floor like Facebook. Yo, got that from great boy. Send your podcast to the great boy. Hey, put you in your place, look. Leave your thoughts on the floor like Facebook. Yo, got that from great boy. Send your podcast to the great boy. Great boy, 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 send your podcast to the great boy. Send your podcast to the great boy.
Well, would you believe us? We're back and ready to go. Like, see, not far from the truth right now. But basically, we've been told Forsaken 5 have said that they are just going to carry on regardless of what happens. So, despite a stunning start, we could see Fallen Angels pick up their win because of technical issues. Not to count out their ability, but Forsaken Boba are in the driver's seat right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're in the driver's seat and been absolutely just on a dominating string of plays, and certainly been quite a phenomenal way of doing it. So, but look, yeah, round 5 is upon us. We are finally here after quite a long wait, which felt like just borderline eternity yet again. And Master Bedroom is the play. No more of the Blackbeard. It's Sledge for Fish Noodle, and looking to bring in some of the hot sauce plays. Certainly could be quite keen to witness all of this.
When we get there, of course. And, well, there we are, ready to go. I did see something cheeky in the hands of Izumi. That is not a submachine gun. That is a shotgun.
That is a shotgun indeed, yeah. Double barrel slug shotgun, the Boss G with an ACOG as well, complimentary. Comes in with the whole package. Izumi is looking to collect some heads. Possibly it's been thanks to the influence of Nez being the shotgun queen herself. But FA, that's a bit ballsy move, but certainly could play in quite well into the ranged game that Fallen Angels could be looking to bring in here. But
I got the
look
drone.
at
Wins where you can find them.
Well done, well done. Already, dub has been achieved by one of the Fallen Angels players. For Forsaken Boba, though, they want to keep on rolling because they want to get that, well, buffer of the points achieved for as much as possible, given just the sheer possibilities that it could be a very unfavorable situation for them later on.
Well, Chloe looking to get the vert towards Solarium underway once again. Meanwhile, Fish Noodle, aka MLG Taco Wrestler, the #1 masked muchacho in town, the luchador queen herself. I don't know if luchadors can be women. I don't know enough about it, but I think the masks are cool. There you go.
Yeah, masks are definitely.
Whoa, Izumi.
We're all about hot takes today. Izumi already frags out the Fish Noodle, aka MLG Taco Wrestler, and that is well already a bit of an unfortunate turnout, given that it could be starting to maybe the fatigue starting to settle in, and that is something that Forsaken Boba do not want to see happen.
There you go. A female luchador is called a luchadora.
Ah,
easy. You learn something new every day. So, MLG Taco Wrestler, the luchadora, coming in hot. Unfortunately, dead already, so it doesn't really matter. But
largely
Forsaken
unfortunate.
Boba, there is a prone shotgun somewhere. I just saw them. No, I was wrong. Never mind. I'm seeing things. There is a bathtub shotgun. Close enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also good. That's also one way to go about it. Quite curious and keen to see what could be pulled off. Could be something very, very cheeky, very neat. Izumi tries to line up a shot, but gets spotted by Thermite. Out of ammo, out of possibilities. Cornered in the bathtub, and at the moment a single doink from the assault rifle will be the end of her.
That is never a sentence I imagined I would hear casting the Women's League. Cornered in a bathtub. Izumi finds herself in a lot of trouble and dead. No, what a way to go. What a way to go. Cornered in the bathtub, taken too soon.
Quite unfortunate, and with Luxie falling down as well, it's all down to Queen AFK and Nez to try to bring this back. Otherwise, we are looking down at a very scary prospect of a 5-0 scoreline against Fallen Angels. That is something that they do not want to have achieved against them, but Master Bedroom is now fully, well and truly locked in, and now it's Nez's time to start demolishing the whole floor.
Well, the biggest Nez, it's time for a remodel. Chalet needs a bit of a change, but Queen AFK with the Spear 308 does take Chloe out, and Nez is just wantonly looking to punish whatever she can right now. Queen misses the opportunity, but for a third in the round, Nez playing lurk after the plant has gone down. But the big question, of course, the big telling factor will be just how many of Forsaken Boba players will survive going into the next round after they have to battle it out with the tech.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Oh yeah. The tech difficulties could be absolutely huge, and well, Repel is ready to just keep up that pressure. FA, unfortunately, despite all of the breaks, despite all of the times that they were given just to, you know, keep on analyzing things, it's just not all working out at all. And well, by the conclusion of it all, 5-0 is upon us. Well, fingers crossed that Forsaken Boba will still be able to load in way faster, and certainly does look like they have indeed loaded in. Now it's time for the actual games to continue.
They forked out the extra $5 for the better PCs.
Could be.
No, I have no idea. It's really going to be once that timer hits 0 and we look to kick things off. I would imagine this is going to be Diana with the sausage again. I would have to imagine.
Diana with the sausage.
The sausage, right. the SASG shotty
gun. Yeah.
The old staple. This is where things start to get a bit telling. We've seen Fish Noodle drop here. If she can stay in, if the team can stay in, I reckon they take the 6-0 half. And yeah, this has been fun. One of the longest matches so far in the Women's League Season 6. And only one team has found rounds.
Yeah, it doesn't really help to Fallen Angels that probably there's also the fatigue, the annoyance of all of the things that have been transpiring so far, and it's just all kind of compounding on top of it all. Is just, yeah, not the prettiest look of it all. Maybe going into this round they will be able to at least make it a 5-1. If it's going to be a 6-0, look, yeah, could be a relatively quick conclusion to it all. But we're not out of this just yet. Still looking to continue our action-packed evening here with one more team to possibly completely finalize the points, finalize the standings, and looking to keep on bringing in the pain train on the opposing team to try to just maybe go for some record-setting performances. Who knows? But what we do know for a fact is, well, Forsaken Boba are certainly already in the driver's seat and well and truly wanting to keep it theirs for as long as possible.
Well, I mean, this could be the last ditch for the half for them to get points at least for Fallen Angels. They've had a couple of decent moments, you know, those moments of fragging prowess that, I mean, you thought for a moment that it was going to go their way. Unfortunately, Forsaken Boba didn't give them the opportunity to close it out. Round 6, though, sadly, no. I'm not quite sure what Butt's doing. Enjoying the scenery, just chilling, having a grand old time.
I don't blame her, really. Enjoying the scenery. The whole of Chalet is quite a beautiful map as well, so can't really blame the gamer for enjoying the views. As long as she doesn't forget to, you know, keep on fragging out, that's all that really matters. That's all that really required of her from the team, and certainly I would imagine so far having an absolutely banger of a performance. Certainly looking to keep the ball running. Well, apart from that, 5-0 is upon us. Minute 53 to go, and already some early engagements by Chloe looking to contest.
But has got herself into the building as well, so no longer enjoying the scenery, is looking to come and play this final round of the half. It is obviously that basement site once again. First engagement, Diana not running the sausage. It is the 308 instead. Finds the opener. Crystal to fall. No more Malusi.
No more Malusi means, well, when the gun's out, the explosive utility is gone as well, and the roaming potential is gone. So is Luxie's as well. It's all starting to fall apart. Nez looking to try to bring in some form of a redemption line here, but with her team slowly starting to fall apart, it's not looking too particularly pretty. The gunfight does erupt, unfortunately just can't connect the shots. And well, in saying that, Forsaken Boba are looking to claim their 6th point.
Oh, Zumi. Shotgun lesion. Audacious at that range. Unfortunately, it wasn't even, you know, the player on Library Stairs that found it. Oh, my lord. MLG Taco wrestler fried there by Queen AFK, who then gets traded back. Repel with the flawless half.
Yeah. Repel just doing absolutely stunning things. And, well, in saying that, that's the first half concluded. First time in a while that we did get to see... the flawless half. And certainly Forsaken Boba are looking to maybe make this a 7-0. And if that's the case, well, that is going to be quite an unfortunate way for Fallen Angels to finish up their season as well. Despite some of the solid performances that they've put out throughout the whole of the regular stage, unfortunately, this is looking to be the end of the road for Season 6 for them.
Well, Fallen Angels, I mean, some would argue that this is a toxic lineup. At least they wouldn't casual with the Ying, Dokkaebi, and Amaru. Others would argue that it's... Yeah,
casual will complain about everything.
But we also get to see,
that
we get to see Crystal playing the newly revitalized Ashe.
Also true, yeah. Crystal could certainly go and just fry the opposition with the new Ashe. I'm definitely quite keen to see what could be done of it. Amaru for Nez could be an interesting prospect as well. With DKB on board, certainly could help that whole rush potential happen, but I have an inkling, Panda, that we may be seeing a relatively quick conclusion to the next round.
Master bedroom office. Okay, so what do you reckon, Cthulhu, with the lineup while we're waiting for the load to come in? What is Nez's approach? Is it basement through the hatch into dining into the hatch into master bedroom, or is it just straight through one of the windows?
Nah, straight through one of the windows. That just you show your plan for far too long, and just a simple straight onto the side or straight into maybe the bathroom window could pretty much do the job.
Well, we'll have to wait and see just how things go here. Forsaken 5, I mean, keeping themselves composed for the most part. They aren't throwing the round. They're approaching it as you would expect. No Kaviras, no odd guns, whatever. Well, I think they just want to close it out. It has been a very long match for only 6 rounds being played.
That I certainly will agree with you, Panda. The match definitely has gone for a fair bit. You know, both teams got plenty of times to really think about some of the actions, to think about if they wanted to play seriously or not in that regard for the context of this matchup. Maybe if they wanted to meme it out, maybe they wanted to try some different strats, and well, straight off the bat, we are seeing some interesting setups from Diana, with the castle completely cutting off the mezzanine and the library, and Repel looking to go in for a few cheeky initial borderland spawn peaks.
Yeah, look, Repel willing to throw her life away given that she hasn't been able to do it just yet. Nez on the approach.
Well, in comes Nez.
Yeah,
oh
where is it? Where are we going to go? Looks like maybe bathroom window?
Straight
which
through
is
the
exactly
bathroom
where
window.
Chloe is. We have the piano window. Mezzanine, or that library hallway window is open. Crystal is there. Nez hesitant. Honestly, why not send it into dining, into master bedroom? That'd be the play, I reckon.
I think they were waiting for just to try to find that initial opening frag and then send it straight off the bat from there, because having that at least even singular player advantage could actually deal a lot of momentum damage as well. So certainly for Fallen Angels, they wanted to make sure that they have the best case scenario set up for them, and well, the scenario is there, sent in by either Crystal or Nez. Could have been huge. Chloe, having her back turned around, could have died there right then and there, but not yet. Still alive, still gets to stick about, but the pressure from the Ashe could be quite damaging.
Well, first of all, is Fish Noodle. It's traded back immediately by Repel with a masterful nitro on Izumi. Izumi! No! Corner! Punish from back. Oh, Repel! Mandy, no! You haven't died, you can't be doing this to them. It's Nez alone, spots the head. 1 versus 4. Mandy is about to finish her last game of the round robin without a single death. 11.0 KD.
Will be absolutely huge performance from her. She would probably even want to try to gain herself that 12th frag as well, but at the moment it's just playing a very calm and collected game. They don't want to throw any kind of advantage in the hands of Fallen Angels, but a swing comes in. No,
man, it's still going to be 11 points. It's still going to be an 11 KD. Who cares?
I mean, it's still, yeah.
Unless Nez clutches up and then Forsaken Boba lose this round, I still think, yeah, an 11.0 KD is absolutely massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Still a huge, phenomenal performance
No,
with a
but
diffuser
no.
there. They're just pinging and like, yeah, we got it. Yeah, it's all good.
B, the shrubbery. And there we go. Solarium window.
Oh boy.
Nez is in. How long will she be in? She's been spotted by the cam, so they know where she is. Looking to get aggressive. Oh no! No, Chloe, no!
Jeez.
Prone in the bathroom door. Just Coach Prone would be absolutely proud.
Absolutely. Look, Forsaken Boba wraps it all up. Nice and cleanly 7-0, despite all of the technical issues, despite the fact that Cafe probably lives in the 2000s and uses floppy drives to load the game. Despite all of that, a stunning 7-0. Unfortunately for FA, things did not go their way.
I have to commend Fallen Angels, though. Their good-naturedness. It was a 7-0. It was a long match. They went along with it. They didn't complain. They just took... They showed some real sportsmanship. They could have complained. It would have been within their right. But look, they stuck with it. They played it out, and it made for some very entertaining siege. And look, I'm the biggest disappointment I have is we got to see Azumi go big with the M870, but not with the 6 is it the 6D that the Legion,
the 612.
The 612. That's the one. I would have loved to see the kill with that as well. That would have been big.
Yeah, it would have been big. Honestly, quite a fan of that shotgun, albeit it's definitely being outperformed by the other option that Ying does receive. But look, regardless of all of that, good effort, all in good spirits, all in good bands. Well done, well played. Unfortunately for FA, that is just about wrapping up their run in Season 6 of Women's League. For Forsaken Boba, well, this is where the fun begins, really. The playoffs are coming next, and, well, those are best of threes, and certainly would require quite a fair bit of, endurance, maybe better computers if they are going to that same internet cafe again. And look, maybe Wazoo could, finally pitch in with the money to, get some upgrades.
Yeah, look, it's a solid team effort there. The coach has to be just as involved as his players are, but look, it's a win for Forsaken Boba. They draw it out, but it is a win nonetheless. Unfortunately, Repel couldn't remain deathless throughout it, but an 11.0 KD, which I'm sure we'll get into when the numbers do get finalized. But, I mean, the season done. Warriors closed it out flawlessly. Forsaken Boba bagged themselves second. So we know top two at the very least, which is, I mean, huge stuff. I mean, it just season after season, Women's League keeps getting better and better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've been saying pretty much with every new season that this is going to be by far one of the most competitive ones. And yet again, I am happy to announce that, well, Season 6 is going to be yet another one of the most competitive seasons that we have received for Women's League. And honestly, it's been just an absolute pleasure watching some of the teams develop. We've seen now the rise of Warriors, who have finished their regular season in flawless manner. And honestly, just showing just a phenomenal performance on the side of the rest of the teams that qualified. Look, I am, though, quite curious about the whole admin announcement as to who actually wins in the whole tiebreaker situation. But given all the setups, I believe Over pretty much already locked themselves in. So are Forsaken Boba. So it's down to that the choice between essentially Viking Army and Grumpy Grapes, who both of the teams actually, they have immense amount of potential.
Yeah, Alex is taking his sweet time and updating us on that decision, as he always does. It is just the way of things, yeah. We'll just blame Nuttery again. It seems to be the easiest path for us at the moment. But, I mean, look, he's not too impressed with that, but we don't care. Yeah, look, a great season. Definitely excited to see what playoffs brings. It's a different environment, obviously, that best of three format. You need to rely on that stamina a little bit more. You can't just, smash grab those wins on a map and then be done for the evening. You got to win two at least. So longevity will definitely come into play for that.
Oh yeah, longevity is definitely going to be a whole new experience for quite a fair few players now. Despite either Viking Army or Grumpy Grapes, I would imagine that for a few of the players for each one of the rosters, the best of three format is definitely going to be a new thing, and something that, well, some of the veterans of the scene could certainly, point them in the right direction and see what could be performed, what can be sorted out. And certainly in saying that, I'm quite excited for how things will really unravel. Do I think that Warriors still have borderline a perfect chance for themselves to keep up on that first place? 100%. but it's more so about the follow-up stories that will be coming through.
Yeah, exactly. We're still waiting on Alex. We always seem to be waiting on Alex. Honestly, at this point, just hire an accountant, get someone to crunch the numbers on the fly, and then we should be good to go. He's almost there, apparently. So we should have the numbers up in just a moment. But, I mean, look, okay. So we know that at least two of those teams, Forsaken Boba Warriors, locked in. It's then that potential three other teams that could be locked in for third and fourth. Who do you reckon wins it off those alone? Who makes it through the grand finals at least?
Oh, I'll say with full confidence, Warriors do make it through because they so far been just an insurmountable force. The second team, I'm almost tempted to say Forsaken Boba.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We do have the match stats ready to go, so we'll get those up on your screen. And there, the absolute demon herself, Rappel, with the plus 10, the 11.0 KD, kind of dwarfs everything else, unfortunately.
Pretty much, yeah. Look, she was the one who kept on spearheading a whole lot of plays. And yeah, you look at the scoreline, clean 7 rounds in a row, no chances to Fallen Angels given. And well, funnily enough, I was initially quite surprised actually to see that it was Bud that didn't really get the majority of the frags, given that she was the one making quite a fair few of the entry plays, but she is following suit with only just a 2-kill differential between herself and Rappel, and honestly, the rest of the team done a phenomenal job overall.
Well, I mean, it's easy to understand. Rappel in that last round of the defensive half went and found frags. Butter went and pretended to be a bush. She was lying down top library stairs trying to hide from her opponents. And, well, you don't find frags doing that. I mean, despite it, I mean, you look at Azuma, you look at Crystal, they got themselves some kills. Unfortunately, Luxie had a bit of a rough match, but I think that's just the nature of the competition and the team that they were versing. And probably no small amount of the delays that we had would have chipped away at the mental, but a little bit. But there you go. That is the results. Your final match of the round robin for Season 6. Going into playoffs, of course, we do have some of those numbers, but the final scores for the matches today, 1-7. Grumpy Grapes picked up the win there. Warriors 7-0'd Volpez. Viking Army took the win over Overt 8-6, and Forsaken Boba took the win over Fallen Angels in a final match of the evening 7-0. And as we have a look at our standings coming into the close of the round robin, we can get an idea of how things closed out. And there you go. Yeah, Warriors, Forsaken Boba, Overt, and Grumpy Grapes will be moving on into the playoffs.
Rather unfortunate for Viking Army, given how close they were to the playoffs bracket, but unfortunately for them, this is pretty much it for the regular season. Despite their phenomenal win over Overt in the overtime, unfortunately, just the fact that Grumpy Grapes had a much cleaner performance, well, ended up being that kind of outcome. Well, which does mean that for Grumpy Grapes, well, they unfortunately will, in the first round of playoffs, will get to verse against Warriors, which is going to be quite a tall order, but I'm sure that despite all the hardships, I still think that they will put up quite a phenomenal performance.
And of course, we will have our playoffs bracket ready to go as well. So we'll throw that up on screen. There you go. Warriors versus the Grumpy Grapes in our first semi-final. It's going to be a tall task if Grumpy Grapes want to move on into the grand finals. Forsaken Boba versus Overt. That one's probably going to be the closer of the two, I reckon.
Oh yeah, Forsaken Boba versus Overt will be an absolute barn burner. I'll definitely agree with you on that one, Panda. It could be pretty much a full 3-mapper with Warriors versus Grumpy Grapes. Look, I'll say that Warriors still looking quite like the dominant force, so I would imagine myself plus majority of the viewing audience would probably call it a cheeky 2-0 for Warriors. But for Grumpy Grapes, look, that means just less pressure on them and all the incentive to them to just to pull some more unpredictable plays.
That is exactly it, and it does bring our regular season to an end. Up next, of course, will be playoffs. We will have to find out when the teams can make the dates for them, obviously, so we'll be sorting those out, to make sure you're following the socials to find out when all of that will be going ahead. But before we close out the evening, of course, shout out to our sponsors, Ubisoft ZQ, Computer Alliance, Intel, ROG, and Cooler Master Cthulhu. Another stunning round robin. And look, does it get better from here? I think we know the answer.
Heck yeah, absolutely, it does get better, and honestly, I couldn't be any more excited for the playoffs and to see who will be the one to claim the champion status.
Well, there you have it. Going into the playoffs, top 4 teams will be making it through when we come back. It'll be in a couple of weeks or a week or two time. when we get into those matches, of course, to see who crowns themselves the champion of Season 6 of the Women's League. Until then, we'll see you next time.
Powered by AMD 3rd Gen Ryzen processors, the ROG Strix B550F gaming Wi-Fi provides first-class gaming features and style. The B550F Wi-Fi features a robust 12+2 DRMOS-teamed Power Stage VRM design with high-quality alloy chokes and durable capacitors to provide reliable power for the latest high-core count AMD CPUs. Fanless VRM and chipset heatsinks with our StatCool 3+ design keep your system running reliably under heavy load by enhancing passive cooling capacity for critical onboard components. For the best gaming connectivity, you get Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.1, and 2.5 gigabit LAN with Asus LAN Guard. You also get dual M.2 NVMe SSD slots, one with PCIe 4.0x4 connectivity, plus a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port and Thunderbolt 3 header. Our pre-mounted I/O shield makes installation a breeze, and with USB BIOS flashback technology, your system's firmware can be updated for next-gen CPUs using nothing more than a PSU and a USB flash drive. A pristine Supreme FX S1220A codec with DTS Sound Unbound and Sonic Studio 3 draws you deeper into the action. Communicate clearly with Asus AI noise-canceling mic technology. Asus exclusive AuraSync RGB lighting, including 2 RGB headers plus 1 Gen 2 addressable RGB header, let you make your PC's lighting uniquely yours. ROG Strix motherboards undergo an extensive certification program to ensure the very best compatibility with the widest range of components and devices. For a smooth build process, refer to our list of guaranteed compatible components. Ascend to next gen with the ROG Strix B550F gaming Wi-Fi.
Podcast of the Great. Send your podcast to the Great.